All right, everybody, we are here with another episode of Chamber Chats, and I got a special guest in the car today. I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we can kick into it.
Well, I'm Herb Bailey. I work for Hudson Garbage Service. We facilitate the county solid waste and also run the transfer station.
And I actually, right before we started recording, I asked Herb, I'm like, do I call it the dump? What do I call it? It's the transfer station, because you're not just a dump.
No, we're actually transferring recycling and solid waste. So we're essentially a facility that takes in all the county waste, and then we move it to a MRF or a landfill.
And the MRF is?
Where they take our commodities, they separate it out, and bale it, and process it.
And then ship it off somewhere.
Yes.
So you guys may have seen, I'll put a little link at the bottom here, you may have seen our video that me and Herb shot.
That'd be Herb and I, actually.
Hey, good point.
Yes.
All right, so that we shot about recycling, and it's crazy. It was like 24,000 people have watched it so far, about basically how we, meaning people like me, the public, screw up recycling. And we don't have to rehash that video, but you got to see a lot of stuff that's done. I don't want to say done wrong, but effectively it's done wrong by the public, right? That they're making your life a lot harder than it needs to be.
It is, but on a good note, I think that just that quick little introduction into recycling commodities, we've actually seen a positive impact on that. We're still getting clothes and styrofoam and some plastic bags, but for the most part, we're seeing something positive, and we're seeing it actually transition into our curbside business as well.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
So as you scroll through the comments on that video, one of the things that you're going to see is people say, "Well, why can't you guys just sort it at the transfer station? What's the big deal?"
I think the key is it's a transfer station.
Yeah.
And so when you can actually put your head around that and understand that it does get separated, but we don't have the real estate or the facility or equipment to do that. It'd be great.
Oh yeah.
But for the most part, it just goes somewhere else to get that done.
Yeah. How many people you got working there?
At the transfer station currently, we have, I would say, 6 folks.
And so when we talk about, well, why can't you just get some people, to do this? Obviously, people think of it as a huge facility.
Yes,
and it is. It's a big facility. Yeah. But you ain't got many people working there.
Well, no, I think the other thing too, and to kind of segue off to that commodity has to have value to support the labor to actually to generate the revenue for us to compensate that employee. And currently, it's like it costs us to process this material. So to employ somebody, it just isn't there yet.
Now,
we do have something that we're working on, though, and we haven't solidified this, is we're going to try to work with the local schools to educate them and actually have them
told me about this,
spend some time at our transfer station engaging with our customers.
Child labor.
Yeah.
Put them to work.
Yeah.
No, that's cool, because that's, and I think you saw on that video, I had no idea that you guys didn't, I try to recycle as best I can, but it's kind of like, maybe I'll throw the dog food container in with a bunch of food in it, or there's certain other things aren't rinsed out properly or whatever, and that's them, that whole recycling then becomes waste.
Well, we actually, you're not the only one. I mean,
thank you.
Yeah, you're not the only violator in that regards. That we actually sat down with the city and grabbed Rick Scholl, the mayor, and brought him to the facility, and he even got educated and said, God, I'm really not a great recycler. Our commissioners, we engaged them. So this whole process has actually educated a lot of folks.
Yeah.
So
well,
a good thing.
And you've got to see, you got to see that constantly. And one of the other things about it was I was absolutely astounded about how much material waste recycling goes through your transfer station.
Simon, I'm going to get off topic for a second and
say
something to you that I've always wanted to say to you. I love your accent.
Aw.
Sorry.
Next on Romance Love Connection,
yes.
Chamber Chats. What was I even talking about? Look, you've got me all flustered now.
Education.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's true though, right? You got to I was going to say a ton of stuff coming through, but many tons.
It's not just the commodities. You know, we actually get, although we're not a hazardous waste facility, we have to manage that world, and you would be surprised on how many folks either don't have the knowledge or they're challenged with living in with compliances. So there's a lot going on at that transfer station, and our volume probably the last 4 years has increased by 15-20%.
When it's obviously more people living here, right?
Yeah.
More stuff. I also sat in a council meeting with you a few months ago now out of Columbia City, where you were introducing, or looking to introduce a small rate increase for the city, and almost because, I mean, you explained the backstory with China screwed up a lot of this stuff, right, by doing the right thing, I guess.
Yes, I think for them, historically, they've been challenged with their air quality.
Yeah,
it's globally known, and so they finally just said, "Hey, we got to stand firm here and change our environment." And by doing so, they had a lot of mills that were not, or were not going to live within compliance as set.
Yeah.
And so to pull those commodities from those mills and make them live on a stricter standard, it's changing their culture. The problem is, we thought that was just going to kind of be a blink, and they were going to move past that, but China has not given up on that national sword situation.
Which is kind of interesting because you talk about like the recycling and the environment and stuff like that, when I mean it really now has become a global issue where China decides to do, let's be honest, it's the right thing to do, right?
Yes.
And now people in Columbia City, in Scappoose, in St. Helens, they may see a couple extra bucks because that's the price that it costs, right?
Well, think about this though. So China was taking 80% of the world's recycling,
which is crazy.
Crazy. Now they shut that off. The good note is we'd love to keep that stuff within our own communities.
Sure.
So we've cleaned up our product thanks to some help from some of these price increases, and then also our customers. The 24,000 views on your last interview with me.
I think it was mainly because it was mostly you in the shop.
Was it?
You're a very handsome man.
Wow. Are we talking recycling? I forgot.
We just got off topic.
Yeah. No, it's been a big deal. We still are getting folks that don't understand that clothes and things don't fit in here, but we are getting audits out on curbside from our teammates. Oh, okay. So our office actually has been really awesome, and they'll go out before route and they'll just QA carts. It's not illegal to recycle incorrectly. No, right? no. I mean, it should be. Are they coming after you? I don't know. Or it should be. You know what? It's about actually people like yourself and just having conversations. Yeah. And saying, hey, this isn't recycling. And for the most part, and maybe it's because we live in a small community, but everybody's pretty receptive. So well, I think well. Yeah, and again, as you put more material out, and the starting with the young kids in school, I think is obviously a huge move. For you guys, which is cool, and that's a good field day for the kids too. Well, you actually, again, I keep referring to that last video you put out. You've inspired some local teachers, and they've reached out for us. So we're doing, I believe in the fall, I think it's Warren School. Hattie was one of them, right? Yes. Yeah. Wanted to do some stuff. It's been pretty neat to get some feedback from these people and say, hey, we do care. We want. How can we change this? Can we come out and see the transfer station? Yeah. And it does start with our youth in our school, because they go home and they say, hey, Dad, what are you doing? Yeah. That doesn't go there. Right. Which is great. Yes. Let's talk a little, shift gears a little bit. Well, first off, I got to tease you about your jacket thing. What is this thing called? What is it? You know what it is, Simon. It's a high-vis vest, and it actually, of course, is indicative of our #1 core value of safety. Oh. So I'm very proud of this vest. But you're not at the transfer station now. No, but you just went through a stop sign not too long ago, and I think what saved our life was they saw me. I didn't go through it. Well, technically, you didn't stop. I did go through it. So tell us about Herb Bailey, the man. What do you do when you're not transferring station stuff? Well, what do you like to do? A lot like you. Yeah. Although my kids are older and I'm losing them, they're transitioning out of the nest. Yeah. I spend a lot of time with friends and family.
Yeah.
I've been in Scappoose for a little over 28 years.
Where were you before then?
I was in the Navy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all over.
Yes. So I've seen all kinds of neat things, but for the most part, very proud of the county and what our communities do. Whether it's Clascanine, Rainier, St. Helens, and Scappoose and Vernonia, we've got a pretty neat place that we live in. So.
Yeah. And you're an outdoor guy, sports guy.
Yep. I love to fish.
Yeah. What's the biggest fish you ever caught?
Chinook, probably, a king salmon, I would say probably 35 to 38 pounds up in Alaska. Yeah.
Nice.
Halibut, I caught a 260-pound halibut. Yeah, I got pictures to prove it.
Where the heck did you catch that?
Out of Valdez. Yeah.
Alaska,
and some of that story is actually not PG, so I'm just going to leave it at that, and I'll fill you in.
What happened to the fish afterwards?
We'll talk later.
That's Chamber Chat After Hours.
Yes.
We do a little thing at the end of Chamber Chat, which I don't tell anybody, and you haven't watched the ones that we've done already, so it's speed round. So I'm just going to ask you questions, you're going to just rattle off, hopefully.
When do I get to do this to you?
You don't.
Oh.
I am I'm the director here, so yeah, no chance. Favorite food?
Favorite food would be a ribeye steak. Easy.
No question.
No question.
Done how?
A little under medium.
Yeah.
I need some adult product to go along with that.
Okay.
So.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
At home or at a restaurant? And if so, which restaurant?
I don't know if it's Jerry that waits on the folks at Longfellow's, but I like Longfellow's.
Jerry works there.
Yes, and I've always just loved how she handles her customers, so I like that place.
All right, little shout out there.
Yeah.
Favorite music?
It's
not Taylor Swift, is it? I bet it's Taylor Swift.
No, but I like Taylor Swift. She's up there, but Alabama, Toby Keith.
All right. I just don't see you as a Taylor Swift guy. I'm sorry.
No, at all. I got daughters. I got 3 daughters.
Oh, that's true. So you're forced to listen to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Favorite place you ever been? Actually been?
I would say either Munich, Germany.
Ooh.
Or
that's right. Navy stuff, right? You've been all over.
No, actually, that was for a prior job that I had, but that was pretty special. And then, without a doubt, Alaska has some just amazing places I visited.
That's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah. So being from there, I'm a little biased as well.
That's fine. If you could go anywhere in the world that you haven't been, where would it be?
Where are you from?
I'm from the Great Britain.
Great Britain. Okay, I'll say Australia.
Second guess.
Yeah.
That's what everybody, whatever. When you were young, think back like 10 years, when you were in school.
Sure.
What do you want to be?
Actually,
it's okay if it's something embarrassing.
We
need to know the real Herb.
The real Herb, when he was growing up, I always wanted to run heavy equipment, and that's just that's it. Just run heavy equipment.
Didn't matter what you were doing?
No. And I've actually been able to do that a little bit working for the company I work for.
Yeah.
We own different businesses outside of just solid waste businesses, so it's been pretty cool.
What's the biggest piece of equipment you've ever used?
It was an oversized excavator, actually, through the company that owns us, called Waste Connections, in Colorado. It was enormous. The biggest piece of equipment I've seen is I was very lucky to work for a company called Oxbow.
Oh, yeah.
And Keith and Christy.
Right in Scappoose.
Yeah, they built this gantry. And I didn't run it, but just the awe and sheer power of this gantry lifting. I could be off base here, but I want to say 23 or 26 million, or actually it's 2.3. They used their gear to move 26 million pounds. It was the most impressive thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, what were they moving?
It was a ship, and it was a project that I think Keith Oxbow received I want to say a global, or it could be a national award. I'm not real privy, but the award they did get it's unheard of for a small company like that.
Probably pretty well deserved.
Yeah, so I like big equipment.
Cool. Well, if people need to get a hold of you at the dump, I mean, they probably get
transfer station.
Oh, dang
Yeah.
And I made a stop there. Did you see that?
I was proud of you.
So if they need to get a hold of you guys, because people may have questions about recycling, or they may have, again, educational topic type stuff. How do they, and if you're a teacher, by the way.
Yeah, just give us a call at 503-397-1534. Ask for Herb. One of the questions that was brought up was, I think somebody was confused about seeing a single truck pick up garbage.
Oh, yeah.
And
you're mixing it.
Yeah, well, that's a two-body truck, and so I would love to show folks if they want to get a hold of me and say, hey, how's this thing work? We'll bring it out to your house and show you. It's got two cells in the body.
Yeah.
And so
I did see that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for spending time with us.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Keep your eyes on the road, please.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And
Yeah.
and your hands on the wheel.
Yes.
This has been Herb Bailey, and we'll catch you on the next one.